Greetings and salutations. Chapter 2 of And They Were Lab Partners by But How About No and the Friendship Hypothesis. You stood outside your dorm a little before 10, waiting for Donnie to arrive. You were listening to your playlist for the month while you waited, thoughtlessly moving songs around in your queue. It really was time to make a new playlist. You were starting to become bored with your recent picks. You pondered about what artists would make the cut this month when you felt a tap on your shoulder. "Can I help you?" you said, turning around and taking off your headphones. "Holy shit," you thought, taking in one of the most attractive people you've ever seen. He was wearing a purple bandana that was covering his shoulder-length locks. He had on these dorky circle wire frames that did nothing but accentuate how sharp his jawline was. The silver of his glasses juxtaposed with his dark skin and even darker freckles that dotted the upper parts of his cheek. It wasn't until you took in his purple hoodie that you had an inkling about who this might be. "I do believe that I owe you a cup of coffee," Donnie said. He quirked a smile at your obvious distress and confusion and struck an obnoxious pose. "So what do we think about my new cloaking device?" he said, flexing his arms. You face-palmed, feeling your face grow hot. Of course it was Donnie. You truly were God's favorite little plaything. "I have so many questions and desire no answers," you said, grabbing his wrist, interrupting his posing, and started to drag him off to the campus cafe. "I demand the largest size they have if I am going to get through today." "Hey, you could have at least said I look nice," Donnie protested. "I look nice." Touche. You didn't end up breaking Donnie's bank when ordering your coffee, but you did make him splurge on oat milk for you. "It's not even milk at that point," Donnie protested. "It's just oat juice." Are you not the same person whose favorite beverage is flavorless juice? That's not even remotely related to this conversation. Oh, yes it is. The two of you playfully bickered while sipping your matching mochas on the way to class. You had honestly pegged him as a black coffee type of guy. Turns out Donnie may have a soul after all. Wednesday mornings usually had you writing solo, as May was out of the dorm way before you even woke up. It was nice getting to walk with someone for a change. Donnie looked beside himself with glee as you led him through your campus, especially when the two of you entered the engineering building. You nearly had to drag him away from looking in the windows of the laser lab the physics department had just started up. "You can look later," you hissed at him, trying not to make a scene. "Class starts in like 3 minutes. We gotta go." "Us, my love, we shall be reunited again," he said, stroking the glass pane one more time before following behind you. You rolled your eyes at him, trusting Donnie to stay close while you walked into the lecture hall. "So, your glasses, are those a part of the cloaking device as well?" you asked Donnie while leading him to your usual seat. No. These I wear quite often," Donnie said. He pulled out a notebook and a few pens along with your shared textbook. "They assist with the eye strain if I'm forced on screens or small text for extended periods of time." You hummed in response. I guess I haven't seen you wear them before. They suit you." Donnie's ears flushed, but before he could respond, your professor started class. Your professor glanced over at you, giving you a wink before continuing to address everyone about the upcoming project. Your professor was almost insistent that you bring Donnie to class when you emailed for permission. He was just that enthusiastic about sharing his field. Donnie gave him a small wave, but you gently nudged him in the side to be cool. He nudged you back in retaliation, and the two of you had a small poking war until the professor properly started on the material. Everything about Donnie drove you back into middle school tactics. It was a problem. Within the span of 5 minutes, Donnie looked enamored. It was like he had completely forgotten you were there. You've never seen someone as engrossed in a lecture as Donnie was. He was hanging on to every word your professor was saying, taking meticulous notes. Donnie even raised his hand to ask a few questions, which just delighted the professor. Donnie was an incredible influence. You didn't know if you'd ever stayed as focused in class in your life. By the end of the lecture, Donnie was bouncing up and down with excitement. He could barely contain himself before bursting into a rant about the material in the project when the two of you exited the lecture hall. Oh me gosh! That was the most informative thing since TED Talk was invented. I now understand how they use the brain impulses and signals for the code to respond to. It's a brain interface. I thought it was just a one-off method with the Krang. But we can implement it with Earth technology. Donnie took both of your hands in his. This is the exact thing I was missing for my project. Thank you for taking me today. Any time, Donnie. You chuckled at him. You definitely enjoyed that way more than I ever do. How could I not? Donnie started shaking your joined hands. At any moment that this esteemed institute is a lifetime's worth of knowledge. Hey, wait up, your roommate called, interrupting Donnie's rant. Your face blanched as she headed over. I'm going to need you to follow my lead on this one, you hissed at him through a smile, letting go of Donnie's hands. Hey, May, I didn't think you were on the side of campus today, you said, greeting her. Oh, you know, photography knows no bounds, she said, holding up her camera. She looked at Donnie and grinned. Well, aren't you going to introduce me? Oh, right. This is May, my roommate, and May, this is Otho von Ryan. Pleased to meet you, Donnie interrupted, shaking her hand. May gave him a coy smile. The pleasure is all mine, Othello, May said. You gotta tell your partner to stop being so secretive about you. There's no point in them having a boyfriend if they're not gonna show you off. You felt your face turning bright red. Right, you said, grabbing Donnie's hand. Well, we really got to get going. I'll see you at home, May. Bye! You walked away from her, dragging Donnie along. Donnie had a look of confusion on his face while he processed what May had just said to him. He laughed when it finally registered. Donnie, I'm really gonna need you to not, you warned. Donnie laughed at you even harder. He maneuvered your hands so they were intertwined rather than just clasped together. He tugged at you so he could lean his face in right next to your ear. Oh, what's the rush, sweetums? Donnie drawled. You shook your hand loose of Donnie's, stepping away and turning to face him. I could kill you, you threatened. Right here. I don't even care about witnesses. You wouldn't do that to your precious boyfriend, would you? You cast a murderous gaze at Donnie, who was biting his lip to avoid devolving into giggles again. It's not the best cover story, but it does give me a good excuse for sneaking into your window at night. Your cheeks burned. Is this the price I pay for science? Oh, you merciless goddess! Please spare me your ties, you lamented. Donnie lost his last little bit of self-control and started cackling. You watched him, half bent over and starting to wheeze a little. Despite yourself, you ended up smiling too. Start of text messages. Quirked up. How many watch lists do you think I would end up on if I Googled how to make a pipe bomb? I feel like as a chem person, it is my civic duty to know. Booty Shaker 9000 sent a link. Quirked up. You know what? I don't even want to know. Thank you. Booty Shaker 9000. Anytime. Quirked up. Do you think in words or pictures? Or just like hashtag vibes? Booty Shaker 9000. Words? Quirked up. Okay. You could still be an NPC though. How is your ability to picture things? Booty Shaker 9000. Could be an NPC do this? Booty Shaker 9000 sent a picture. Quirked up. Is that my fucking social security information? Booty Shaker 9000. Yes, smiley face. Quirked up. Booty Shaker 9000. And to answer your question, I have an exceptional ability to picture things in my mind. Quirked up. Why are you so bad at OChem then? Booty Shaker 9000. You're still picking fights after I just revealed that I have your social security information? Quirked up. Yeah, well, I have your internet search history. Quirked up sent a link. I haven't looked at it super hard because I'm nice, but I am seeing a surprising amount of atomic last searches. Booty Shaker 9000. I would like to request a truce. Quirked up. Granted, darling. Heart. Booty Shaker 9000. I am exceptionally close to blocking you. Quirked up. You should be blocking outside hackers from your servers, but that's just a thought to me. Booty Shaker 9000. Inferior beating. Quirked up. Donatello. Which is Spanish for nerd. Booty Shaker 9000. I must never introduce you to my brother. Anyways, to my original point of contacting you, would you be amenable to me attending your engineering and medical applications lecture again? Quirked up. I thought you figured out your issue with synapses. Also, brother? There's more of you? Booty Shaker 9000. It appears that my configuration issue is more in depth than your professor made it seem. That's no diss on him. He's a delight. Also, yes, I have 3 brothers. Quirked up. I'm trying to imagine 4 Donatellos in one enclosed space. I am not liking the mental picture. Booty Shaker 9000. Harsh words, sweetums. Booty Shaker 9000. Although you are not incorrect, 4 Donatellos is too many. My brothers and I are different from one another. I am the only one drawn to the role, noble pursuit of knowledge. Quirked up. It's been a week. Can we drop the sweetums? Booty Shaker 9000. I will consider it if you allow me to tag along to your lecture. Quirked up. Only if you buy me coffee again. Booty Shaker 9000. Deal. At no fault of your own, Donnie became even more notable part of your weekly schedule. Wednesdays and Fridays, he would show up at your dorm in his human disguise and walk with you to the campus coffee shop. You stopped letting him buy you coffee after the 3rd time. You were a shit, but not that much of a shit. You had a sneaking suspicion that the lectures were less relevant to Donnie's secret project than he let on, and you voiced as such. It's approximately 40% related to the project, 10% love for your professor, and 50% sheer academic joy. Donnie replied to the confrontation. He gave you a sheepish grin as he explained. You rolled your eyes at him. Your professor had a deep fondness for Donatello that you couldn't explain. Donnie had bound up to him after a lecture, much to your behest, and immediately started bouncing a million questions off of him. Your professor responded in kind, fully answering each of Donnie's hypotheticals. He even handed Donnie a piece of paper with his email written on it if he had further questions. Donnie baffled you in more and more ways each day. You've hit my soft spot, you said, as you clutched at your chest. I could never remove a nerd from his natural habitat. The ecological impact alone would be devastating. Donnie had used a metal hand to tip you out of your chair after that, causing you to break into raucous laughter on your dorm room floor. Today, though, laughter was not on your side. You woke up to a human Donnie shaking you awake. You groaned, flipping over and burying your face in your pillow. Donnie let out a large sigh and used his robot arms to pull your blankets off of you. You shivered from the sudden chill and turned back around to level a glare at Donnie. What's your damage? You said, still mostly groggy. Donnie gave you a blank stare back. It's Friday. Yep, it's 10:30. You stilled, your eyes going wide. You glanced at your alarm clock to confirm that it was in fact 10:30. Your heart stopped. Shit, fucking dicks! You said as you launched yourself out of bed. There's a test today! You ran over to your changing area to throw on something a little more dignified than your Jupiter Gym pajamas. You grabbed your pill container from off your dresser and winced as you swallowed your meds dry. I figured when you didn't show up at our usual spot that you were sleeping in. So I took the liberty of getting coffee while I waited, Donnie said. He had a smile as he watched you scramble around the room. You shoved your laptop into your backpack and looked at Donnie gratefully. He was holding your usual order in one hand and taking a long swig of his drink in the other. You took your drink from him and downing half of it in one go. You wiped your lips with a smile. I knew there was a reason I kept you around. Besides my dashing good looks, Donnie said, putting his hand on his face with a smirk. You punched his shoulder. No time for banter. We have 8 minutes for a 15-minute walk, you said. Donnie nodded, and the two of you took off across campus. You did your best to keep your drink from spilling as you jogged across the commons. Donnie, the ass, was using one of his metal arms to keep it steady. For a second, you almost yelled at him to put it away so he wouldn't blow his cover. But it was college. The Meckies were pulling that shit every week. Last one there buys coffee next week? Donnie asked as the two of you ran side by side. You are so on, you said. Donnie grinned and started pulling in front of you. You swore as his long legs and started picking up the pace. Donnie might have had a bit more height advantage on you, but you knew this campus like the back of your hand. You knew the back ways. You took a sharp right into an alley by the biology building, having to shout out an apology to a person running a book that you scared the shit out of. You lofted yourself over a concrete wall and threw everything you could into sprinting that last bit to the engineering building. You had tunnel vision so bad you didn't even see Donnie before he barreled into you, your coffee becoming crushed between your chests and the two of you falling back hard on the sidewalk. You hissed at the sting of your palms as you caught yourself on concrete. You surveyed them, seeing that they were well and truly scraped up. You looked over at Donnie to see if he was okay, and was shocked to find a giant turtle rubbing his head. Donnie, your image transducer, you said. Donnie's eyes went wide as he looked down at himself. He pressed the button on the side of the brooch, but his human disguise didn't so much as flicker back on. You got up and threw your flannel over his head, scanning the area for anyone around. You started frantically panicking. Donnie, shit, the test. It's 15% of my grade, you stammered, not knowing what to do. Donnie raised a hand, stopping you. Go, take it. I'll be okay, he said. He shot you a smile. Send my regards to your professor. I hope to see him next week. You gave him an uneasy smile, but nodded. You grabbed your bag and rushed into the classroom. Quirked up. Did you get home all right? Booty Shaker 9000. I've been a turtle for 22 years now. Getting home with limited attention is child's play. Well, I'm glad some lab didn't scoop you up and start dissecting you. Booty Shaker 9000. Ye of little faith. How did the test go? Quirked up. Kick ass, Ovs. Anyways, helps when you have got an actual accountability buddy that makes you go to every lecture. How messed up is your image transducer? Booty Shaker 9000. It's a bit fried, to say the least. Apparently, the crystal I used to power it reacts poorly to coffee for some unknown reason. It will be a bit before Othello von Ryan will be able to show up again. Quirked up. Aw, geez, man, that's my bad. How can I make it up to you for wrecking your tech? Booty Shaker 9000. Next week's notes and coffee? Quirked up. You got it, Dee Dee. Are we still on for Quiz Friday? Booty Shaker 9000. Only if you still have those sour gummies. Quirked up. I'll stock up. Not because I like you, but only because that still falls under the repayment obligations. Booty Shaker 9000. Whatever you have to say to help you sleep at night, sweetums. Quirked up. Frowny face. That's the end of chapter 2.